Hello children, welcome back to your English class. I hope all of you are happy and safe at home. Today I'll be teaching you the fourth lesson in your English text. The name of the lesson is The Happy Prince. The Happy Prince is the story of a prince and a swallow bird. Both of them sacrifices themselves for helping others. Now let us listen and enjoy the story of the Happy Prince.
High on a column stood the statue of the Happy Prince, gilded with gold, two bright sapphires for eyes, and a large red ruby on his sword hilt. One night a little swallow flew over the city. His friends had gone away to Egypt for winter, but he had stayed behind, for he was in love with a reed. After they had gone, he felt lonely, so he asked the reed to accompany him. But the reed refused, and so he decided to join his friends in the pyramid city. All day long he flew, and then he arrived in the city. Then he saw the statue of the Happy Prince and thought of resting under it. He alighted between the feet of the Happy Prince and found a golden bedroom. Just as he was going to sleep, a drop of water fell on him. "How curious!" he cried. "There isn't a single cloud in the sky, yet it is raining." Another drop fell. He looked up and found that the Happy Prince was crying. "Who are you?" the swallow said. "I am the Happy Prince." "Why are you weeping then?" asked the swallow. "When I was alive, I did not cry. My courtiers called me the Happy Prince. So I lived and so I died. Now that I am dead, they have set me up where I can see all the misery of my city." The Happy Prince said that far away he could see a poor house. There is a seamstress whose face is thin and worn, and who's making a gown for the queen's maids of honor. Her boy was having fever and wants oranges, but she has got only water. The prince asked the swallow to take his ruby to the seamstress. Seeing the sad look on the face of the Happy Prince, Swallow agreed to stay back for one night. The swallow plucked the ruby and flew away with it. He came to the poor house and laid the great ruby on the table and flew back. The prince was still unhappy. The prince said that he could see a young man who was trying to finish a play for the director of the theatre, but he is too cold and hungry to write. The prince asked the swallow to pluck one of his eyes made of sapphires and take it to him. The swallow had to agree. He plucked out the prince's eye. The swallow flew with a sapphire. He went and put the sapphire on the table without the student seeing him. When he woke up, he was quite happy to find the sapphire. The swallow flew back to the prince, but he was still unhappy. The prince said that he could see a little match girl in the square below. Her matches have got spoiled, and her father will beat her if she does not bring some money. He asked the swallow to stay back for one more night, pluck his other eye, and give it to the little girl. At last the swallow had to agree. He plucked the prince's other eye and swooped past the match girl and slipped the jewel into her hand. The little girl was quite happy. She ran home laughing. The swallow flew back to the prince. Now that the prince was completely blind, the swallow decided to stay back forever. The swallow flew over the city and saw the sufferings of the poor. He flew back and told the prince what he had seen. The prince asked the swallow to pick the golden leaf on his body and give it to the poor. The swallow picked off the gold leaf by leaf till the Happy Prince looked dull and grey. He gave it to the poor. Then the snow came and the poor swallow grew colder. He knew he was going to die. The swallow said that he was going to the house of death. He kissed the happy prince and fell dead. A loud crack sounded inside the statue. The leaden heart had snapped into two. The next morning, the mayor passed by. He saw the shabby statue of the happy prince and the dead bird at its feet. He ordered to remove that statue. Soon the statue was pulled down and melted. The broken lead heart would not melt, so they threw it away on a dust heap where the dead swallow was lying. Meanwhile, in heaven, the god said to his angels to bring the two most precious things in the city. The angels brought him the leaden heart and the dead bird. "You have rightly chosen," said God, "for in my garden of paradise this little bird shall sing forevermore. And in my city of gold the happy prince shall praise me." So you see, children, even if you forgo some happiness by putting others before you, there are always better things waiting for you.
So children, help others and be compassionate towards others. I hope you like the story of the Happy Prince. Thank you. See you in the next class.